How's it going, everybody? Today's video is going to be about an ME/CFS symptom that is overlooked quite a bit, and that's gut issues. For whatever reason, it's not spoken about as often as it should be, in my opinion, and it could be because people are uncomfortable talking about it. It's not a pleasant topic for some, and it can be embarrassing, and it just gets overlooked. But I do think it impacts ME quite a bit. The most common is generally just an upset stomach and diarrhea. I think that happens to a lot of people with ME and CFS, and at first I didn't think that it was a big deal. I thought I just had to clean up my diet. I didn't really put the two and two together. I never had stomach issues growing up or before I had ME. So when I started developing these issues, I thought I just wasn't eating right and started cutting back on the obvious things that I should cut back on, but it persisted. And I noticed that whenever my stomach would flare up, my other symptoms of ME would flare up. Similar to anything. To me, it flares up some of my symptoms more than anything else is if I have an upset stomach. So the diarrhea and constipation, which are basically irritable bowel syndrome, IBS-D, IBS-C, a lot of people develop that, and that just kind of comes and goes with no rhyme or reason. Some people have certain triggers, some people don't. For me, it's just basically no rhyme or reason. Another issue that a lot of people have with their gut is nausea. People that have ME and CFS have a lot of nausea. I know people that are nauseous almost every day, and that's another symptom that I think a lot of people don't talk about enough, or they don't really correlate it with ME. They attribute it to something else, but a lot of people that I've spoken to have nausea. They also have pain in their gut, in their stomach, in their gallbladder area. That's something that a lot of people deal with on a day-to-day basis. Another thing is food sensitivities. I noticed that after I got ME and CFS, excuse me, I started to notice foods that I always enjoyed and never had an issue with had me sprinting to the bathroom or hunched over in really bad pain. And that's something that I started to notice pretty aggressively the second year, third year that I had ME. For some reason, doctors, at least in the US, a lot of them don't really go into diet, go into food. I mean, they'll tell you to eat healthy, they'll tell you to cut back on certain things, but your diet is very impactful, not only on your health, obviously, but with ME and CFS more so. One thing I can recommend is keep a journal of what you eat and how you reacted to those foods, how they made you feel, if it upset your stomach, if you're nauseous, if you have pain, if you become fatigued afterwards, if you have flares, brain fog, whatever symptom. The IBS can also, and the diarrhea can also cause dehydration. Another issue that I think is important to talk about. For people with ME, it's important to stay hydrated, especially if you're having a stomach issue. Another issue that people with ME often have is absorption issues. That seems to be a common problem, is not being able to properly digest and absorb food. That's something that my doctors told me is very common with people with ME. I know it's an issue for me, and it has been for a long time. It's hard to imagine how big the umbrella of symptoms are with ME and CFS. It's actually a little bit upsetting once you really look at all the symptoms and how big that umbrella is as well. So those are just some of the symptoms of gut issues that I've experienced. For you out there that have ME and CFS, please drop in the comments what issues you may have gut related and how they pertain to ME and CFS. One thing I left out, all of these symptoms, when they happen, trigger other ME symptoms. And that's something that I really want to focus on here. Every time that I have nausea, stomach pains, food intolerance, diarrhea, all these things, they flare up brain fog, muscle pain, fatigue, and an array of other symptoms that I don't want to have. So if you're watching this and you have ME, please let me know what symptom I may have left out that is gut related and how it relates to your ME, because we're all so different, and I am very curious to see it. And the comments that you guys leave, other people that are new, they go in there and read them and learn a lot. So I think that's one of the main reasons I made this channel, is to kind of get the community speaking and sharing information. So yeah, gut issues, probiotics, fermented foods, staying hydrated, not eating inflammatory foods. Those are all things that worked for me. Talk to your doctor and see, and come up with a plan, hopefully, to see what works for you. I think you get the gut right, you feel a lot better. And when you're already dealing with ME and CFS, you don't want your gut getting in the way. The gut is a standalone issue that makes people feel lousy in it of itself. You throw that in with ME and CFS, it's a recipe for disaster. So I hope that this video inspires people to try to get their gut healthy, learn about nutrition, learn about probiotics, learn about fermented foods, learn about what sugar does and fried foods and the horrible diet we have in the US. Basically all of it is really bad for your gut. I hope everyone's doing well. Take care.